رمضان رمضان شهر القرآن هدى لنا.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Ramadan Talks, where we talk about topics inside and outside Ramadan. Now, Ramadan is a time for families to get together, but the sad reality is not every house is a home. There are broken homes in the Muslim community, and that's what this episode is dedicated to talking about.
Assalamu alaikum, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, not every house is a home. When somebody says, I'm going home, meaning I'm going to a oasis of peace. In Ramadan, we experience some of that peace around supper, iftar, but not everybody is lucky to have that. Although it's an essential thing, it has become a luxury these days because families are being destroyed every day. And we know very well, we may call him shaitan or evil forces, they're working tirelessly day and night to destroy this foundation. For us Muslims, family is the most essential, brick in that building called humanity or civilization. If we don't protect families, then society will be destroyed and civilization as we know it will vanish. And historically speaking, when you compromise marriage and children, parents relationship, husbands and wives, marriage foundation, then no moral system, no love, no respect, no treating the elders in a respectful manner. As a matter of fact, in Islam, the second commandments after thou shalt not worship except Allah and be good to your parents. If you don't have these values, then of course, family in its absence, the absence of a sound, healthy family, then we will have problems.
What would you say are some of the causes for it to be broken down? I mean, it varies, there's a wide range.
Alhamdulillah, almost 30 years I've been doing counseling, marriage counseling. As you know, we do it free of charge for the community, but I stopped doing divorce almost a year ago because it's very stressful. It comes, alhamdulillah, I say to the community, it's been 30 years of service, it's enough. So we used to do pre-divorce, like we still try to help families talk to each other, but divorce, when it gets nasty, it's just very, very negative for the children, for family, for society. So we understood and learned from people's stories, day after day. You could see a pattern. It's either attitude, self-centeredness, selfishness, egoism, a sense of supremacy over the other, some sense of my way or the highway is destroying families, and we're seeing more of that. And it's reflected in the behavior of children in schools, regardless, private schools, what we call religious schools or public schools. That behavior they see in the schools is frustration. Children don't find the home you mentioned, and they may pour out their anger on their classmates, their friends, because they need healing, they need peace. A child is in the process of growth, needs to go to sleep with hope to wake up for another day where they can find a better day than yesterday. And they're not seeing that. Violence these days, I wouldn't say you won't believe it, but husbands and wives swear at each other. And then we blame the children for swearing. It's all from the parents. Now, I don't want to blame the parents for everything. Society does play a big role in destroying our children, but even school. But what I want to say, parenting has become the most difficult task. I always say, you may have heard me, that parenting now is the most difficult since the dawn of humanity, whatever that dawn was, thousands of years ago. But this is very difficult. Those symptoms, we see them in society, are actually the result of broken families. This violence. You saw 2 weeks ago, the police gave a report that homicide went down, but break-ins and car theft and a lot of these crimes. And to our surprise, it wasn't to my surprise, that most of these crimes are committed by teenagers, not adults. People, children as young as 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 are involved in shooting, in crime, in many things. And this is very alarming for us as a society.
So, Dr. Slimi, you're talking about the children acting up, let's say, in the classrooms. Is there a triangle that is not developed, meaning student, parents, school? That triangle is just not being...
Parents are overworked, inflation, bills, they have to do, we finished prayer Maghrib time tonight, and a young man came to me asking me about whether it's permissible to get involved in some business. He said, this is my after daily job. I work for 4 hours because I have a wife and a child, a baby, and we can't make ends meet. So in addition to my full-time job, I work 4 hours in the food industry. And he asking me, typical question about halal. Is it halal in this? And I looked at him and said, it's very difficult. Is this essential? He said it's essential because by the time I pay rent, I do this and do that, I don't have money to feed my family. And he's a struggling new immigrant. People are struggling out there. And in the midst of that, they are hoping that school will take care of their children. Some actually take them to Islamic schools with the hope that the school will take care and do the parenting job. Nobody can do parenting for your child except you. So it is very challenging, but it's not impossible. I know even single mothers that raised amazing people. You and I know some of them, and they are making a difference in society. So being single parent or being this, it might be challenging, but doesn't mean failure is your destiny. No, I'd say success is your destiny.
So from the religious perspective, what is a solution for this?
From our religion, family is important. It's a foundation of society. Allah clearly says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O you who believe, protect yourself and your families. Protect yourselves and your families from a tormenting fire, both in this life and the hereafter. And it is incumbent on us as parents to take it seriously. Parenting is good, is very rewarding, and the rewards of it are immense. And no doubt having children is quite a blessing. But with the blessing comes responsibility. It's not a privilege. And you get rewarded if you raise a good son or good daughter, and that's the best thing you could leave before, after you leave this world. As the Prophet ﷺ said, 3 things: a running charity or a continuous charity, a child, a son or a daughter who prays for you, and of course a knowledge that you disseminated and is being spread. We're not saying we encourage people not to have children. No, have them and do your job. Nobody will do parenting as you could do. If you have to lower on your lifestyle standards to raise a good generation, is better than raising lifestyle and having no time for your children.
So Paul, lower your lifestyle standards to raise your children.
And when we speak about lifestyle, we don't mean lifestyle like how you live and ideas. No, we talk about people wants very comfortable life. And as you know, easy times, they create lazy people.
And then lazy people create tough times.
Exactly. And then tough times make strong people. So the idea is we're trying to spare our children to experience the hardship that some of us experience whether back home or during our childhood. And in the name of not wanting to see them in that situation that is haunting us, whatever that experience is, we actually destroy them.
Wow, there's definitely a lot more to unpack here. Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Slimi, for this conversation. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us create every house to be a home. For those of you tuning in, truly appreciate that. Feel free to drop a comment down below and subscribe so you know when the next conversation is arriving. And until next time, assalamu alaikum.